Hello and welcome to JN CareerApt. This is Nitya Natarajan. Today's guest is Wasim Akram, a seasoned learning and development professional and communication trainer with over a decade of experience shaping future-ready youth. He has empowered hundreds of students with the confidence, soft skills, and adaptability needed to thrive in today's competitive job market. Through his work in school cinema, Wasim also inspires students to think beyond academics and prepare for life beyond the classroom. We extend a warm welcome to you, sir. Welcome to the podcast series, Future Ready Students, Insights from Education Leaders.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure to be part on this platform. And I'm very much delighted and proud on myself to be part on this podcast because I want to make sure to share some stories about my experience and knowledge so that I can express it so that more of the students can get inspiration from me and
Yes.
so that they can learn, they can get the importance of those latest cycles which are related to the 21st century.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so to begin with, Mr. Wasim, you've trained hundreds of students for the workplace. Please
Yes.
share with us what are some of the most common gaps you see in fresh graduates?
Yes, first of all, I thought it might be the academic gap, or I can say that the knowledge gap. But it was surprising that this is not the case. It is the gap of communication skills,
Mm.
active listening, and problem solving. And I want to let you know that people learn 80% not through practicals, but through active listening, and only 20% through practicals. So this
Okay.
shows the importance of active listening, not at workplace, but in academic and personal life. And also, I can't believe that a person can grow as he doesn't know how to express themselves.
Mm.
I thought that the most of the students doesn't know how to express themselves,
Mm.
how to be a good active listener,
Correct.
how to solve problems, how to be a good team member. These
Right.
are the main skills, soft skills, which I believe are lacking among the students, and we should take care of. For example, in the recent in the skill active, I had a training session to the training graduates, engineering graduates, and I believe most of that they have high IQ value and they might have more practical and technical knowledge, but most of the students don't know how to express themselves and do not qualify the interviews.
Mm.
And after that, good training and tuning, they after some sessions they were able to do crack the interview and they got the job only because they lack soft skills. So it's not the technical skills most of the students lack, not the practical knowledge, but the soft skills like the communication, emotional intelligence, problem solving, and active listening.
Right. That's really, and I agree completely with you. For the sake of the audience, because there's, there'll be parents and students also who will be listening to this podcast. Can you please explain to them what exactly active listening is?
You know, I told that 80% we learn through active listening.
Mm.
Active listening means that we learn, we listen actively. We didn't interrupt the speaker.
Mm.
We understand the language, we decode the language, and at the perfect time, we
Mm.
then reply to the speaker and ask the feedback to the speaker, ask any questions, whatever we have done.
Right.
And most importantly, active listening occurs when you do not have a preoccupied mind.
Mm.
For example, when you go into the session or
Mm.
to a training session or to you go to the learn, your mind should be free. Most of the times your mind gets preoccupied. So you should set yourself mind free before going to any session or before going to any learning class.
Correct. And being a career coach, any of the coaches or consultants, we always, one of the most important skill that we should possess is active listening.
Yes.
Active listening means like paying 100% attention to whoever is
Attention,
speaking
yes.
to you and trying to like rephrase what they have said, just to make sure that I've got it right, I've understood what you were trying to tell me, right?
and
And in case,
remembering those remembering those things what you learn in the session and
right,
paraphrase that is summarized in your own language,
correct,
being very
correct,
much focused, listening actively, and whatever the distractions are you do not have to keep mind towards that distractions, just making focused on the listener, so,
completely.
on the speaker, listening actively and
Mm.
making sure that there is no disturbance and whatever is being said you understood. And if you have any doubt, you
Mm.
ask it is the time at the time, ask and repeat the question so that any doubt you have it should be get cleared.
Yes, yes. Okay, so that's what, for the sake of the students who don't really know the meaning of active listening.
Active list.
Most of
Yes,
us
yes.
listen, but do we listen actively is what is really essential, right?
Yes,
Only
it
then
is.
we'll be able to understand what the other person is trying to tell us. And that is one of the important skills, often emotionally intelligent person, because
Yes.
a person with a high EQ will definitely listen actively.
And nature also says that we have been given one mouth and two ears because we have to listen more and
Listen more
speak
and
less.
talk less. Right.
Yes.
Okay, that's a wonderful thing to start with. So as we were talking about soft skills like communication or collaboration or even active listening that we were talking about are often underrated in schools. So do you
Yes.
think they are absolutely essential for career success? And if you think so, why?
Yes. Obviously, for example, if we can say a good communication skill, the people having good communication skill, they build network at workplace and at school,
Mm,
and they become born leaders.
mm,
They get more knowledge. They get sometimes advantage over the rest
correct.
because people having good communication skills, having good I can say that listening skills, having good motivation skills, having good personal hygiene, these are all the soft skills which are needed for
Mm,
us to grow not professionally but as personally. And
mm,
that most of the employers think, 3 out of 5 employers think that most of the employees need soft skills because practical knowledge can be gained at workplace, but not the soft skills. So you
correct.
need to be, for example, humans, we all have to become good team members.
Mm,
So our life gets eases. Nothing eases our life more than the people around us. But how we can develop good relationships with the people, it's
mm,
all because of soft skills. So
correct.
it is very much underrated qualities, but I believe most focus should be given on those qualities because it teaches us how to grow, how to build relationships, how to learn, and how to express ourselves.
Correct.
For example, I will give an example. During the session I had with School Cinema, when I have interaction with the students, they might have everything, but they do not know how to express themselves. So I thought that the group discussions and with the sessions I had with them, and they got an IQ that, because after that learning that session, they knew they got the leadership skills. And some of the students, I got one of the student, he had a good technical, I can say that the academic record, but he was being unseen and unheard in the class.
Mm,
So when I show him that the importance of communication and went through group activities and group discussions, he was able to speak. Probably he was lacking the confidence because he had a fear of rejection, a fear of failure.
mm,
And
mm.
after that, when he got that, I told him that there is no need to get fear. There is a reason that every people might, if you do good or bad, people will talk behind you. So after 2 or 3 months, I came back and I thought that he has become a class representative.
Great.
So how well he cope with himself, how well he adjusted to the new, I can say to the life cycles, he mastered life cycles, and that gave him advantage to become a class representative, a person which was seen, unheard before.
Okay, that's a great and inspiring real life example that you have shared with us. So this case study also talks about adaptability and trying to have a growth mindset, trying to come out of the comfort zone to learn more.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, that's why I want to say, because you, if you have to survive in life, you have to become a leader. If you have to grow professionally, you have to give importance. I believe more importance to the soft skill as compared to the academic skills.
great. That's right. That's right. So it's not always about academic skills. Academic skills or academic performance is important, but along with that, what is going to make you actually successful and make you a good leader at work is going to be your soft skill. And it's not only about work; it's also about your personal relationships,
Personal
interpersonal
relationship.
relationships. Soft skills are
Yes.
required there also. Right.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Wasim, you work at the intersection of education and industry. Please
Yes.
share with us what can schools do differently to better prepare students for real world demands.
Yes, obviously we have to learn the 21st century skills. These
Mm,
are all the life skills we need to learn. For example, the industry exposure, the skill education, the skill mapping. What are the industries need? what they want from the students. Those, for example, we can say that the students should be learn more, given more industry exposure, because
Mm.
this is what they can expect at the workplace. So it is not how much you write, how much you read will give you the results, will bear you the fruits, but it is actually the industry exposure, the skill education, and the modern 21st skills which should be given. So if you can see about, I can give the students an advantage, that is skill advice, that for example, most of the MNCs, they do not want you to be good at academics only. They want you to become a good team member,
Mm.
to become a good active listener. Your
Mm.
professional, your personal grooming should be good. Your
Mm.
communication skills should be good. That is what I want. And the industry should be done and the school should be done exactly the same. So
Same.
they should focus on industry exposure, skill education, so that everybody, whoever, for example, I have recently interacted with a student. He has almost 97% in BSc nursing,
My God.
but he didn't uh, qualify a single interview in private sector.
That's
You
nice.
know the reason behind? Because he doesn't know how to introduce themselves.
Mm.
Because the academic and the formal education doesn't help give us the advantage how to represent ourselves, how to
Right.
express ourselves, how he can express himself during the interview.
Correct. In
So
schools, we never teach children how to introduce themselves or how to answer questions in an interview, right?
yes,
How to speak to people in a group, in a
yes,
formal setting. We don't teach children all this. So how are they
yes,
supposed to?
yes, that's why they fail to express themselves during an interview. One more thing, during one of my friend, I told that I went to the bank and with my father and I behaved rudely with the security guard. My father asked me why you did so. I told him, does anyone, a single teacher, asked me how to behave, how to control your emotions? I do not know. I have been told what are the formulas in math, how science works, what is history, what is political science. Has anyone told me how to build strong relationships, how to control your emotions? So industry exposure, skill education, skill mapping, these are all the skills which should be taught apart from academic learnings. So because these are the latest 21st skills, digital literacy, which will provide us the job at workplace and which will make us sure that we are prepared for the future and not only on the academics. Because academics makes us machine learners, but soft skill makes us humans.
Correct. And that's the only way we can compete with the AI that is taking over all the jobs in today's job market. So if we have to compete with the AI, okay, definitely AI is going to be much, much faster, much, much smarter than all of us when it comes to technical knowledge or any kind of textbook knowledge. So what makes us stand out is our creativity, that human nature that you were talking about, the soft skills, which no
Yes.
AI is going to master like a human being.
Yes, we can learn anything from AI, but the emotional intelligence, the human
Mhm.
touch, which can't be learned through artificial intelligence, which can be only learned when you have focus and command over communication, or we can say soft skills or life skills.
Right. Great, great. So that's what we talk to when we talk to students and parents, because most of them nowadays they're all worried. Will AI take over my job in the future? Like students in class 8 and 9 are asking that question now. Will AI take up my job in the future? So that's what
Yes,
we tell them. So that's why you have to focus on your soft skills and your
soft
emotional
skills.
intelligence, because no AI is going to master that like you.
Yes, obviously because no one has such skills.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Mr. Vasan, we were talking about confidence, communication, and adaptability. These are some of the key words that you use in your training. So please tell us, how can educators help students build these skills early on from school?
I believe the first one method, which is to encourage people to speak public, to have masters on public speaking at early age.
Mm.
Because I believe public speaking gives us such a repetitive advantage, such a masterclass advantage over the rest, because we get confidence, we get recognition
Mm.
first through public speaking. So
Mm.
focus should be done at young age on public speaking. Then the second is self-reflection,
Mm.
because so that we can get the SWOT analysis. If we journaling our self-reflection of, we know our strengths and weaknesses, so that we can work on at young stage, we can work on weaknesses and we can improve our strengths. So first is we have to make sure that the people work on public speaking,
Mm.
group activities, and provided structural feedback. So
Okay.
giving people a structural feedback, they can improve and they can develop soft skills through it, because nothing gives us more advantage. We can only improve through structural feedback. So the student should be given, they should be encouraged to public speaking. Then the second method is self-reflection. They should be asked to reflect themselves, to master themselves, to SWOT analysis, do SWOT analysis to themselves. Then let them participate in group activities, because some of the students aren't good at group discussion, public speaking. How you can encourage them, because it is a very much difficult skill, but it is a very much powerful skill. So first let them to discuss to participate in group activities, so that they can gain some confidence, and after some time they can achieve public speaking. And
Especially
also
for me.
provide them, yes, also provide them a structural feedback.
Mhm.
Let them know what they have strengths, what they have weaknesses, so
Mhm.
that they can learn on weaknesses, so that they can master their strengths. So these are the methods which I believe, which I am using to get confidence among the students, because nothing gives them more importance, more confidence than whenever they speak in front of public.
Right, right. Because group discussions are a very, very important and essential part in even in college admissions. If you are
Yes,
targeting some top colleges, prestigious universities, even for UG admission after you clear your entrance exam, the next thing is sometimes interview, sometimes it's also group discussion.
group discussions.
So
Yes,
unless you have some practice, some confidence about talking, about any concepts, whether it is technical or soft skills or any other topic, unless you have some kind of an experience talking in a group, you are not going to master that skill. And so this
yes,
is, like you said, especially important for introverts, because introverts, the major issue there is to talk to other people, especially, when the group members are all strangers. So having some kind of experience, similar experience in a similar setup at school is definitely going to increase their confidence levels. And you were
yes,
also talking about structural feedback.
yes,
In the education sector in schools, we call that as the sandwich method,
yes,
where you start by saying something positive about what the child has
yes,
performed, and then you
yes,
tell them how they can improve themselves, tell them what went wrong and what they should be working on, and again
yes.
give them another positive a hopeful message. So we
Message
call
how
that
to
as
improve.
yeah, how to improve and how they can be better communicators, for example. So we call that
Yes,
as the sandwich method. Right. Okay. So that's a great one, valuable point that you have brought up, Mr. Wasim. Your profile also says that you work with school cinema. That was really very exciting to read about. So please tell us how storytelling helps students reflect and grow beyond academics.
yes, school cinema works because they teach life skills, confidence, communication skills through films. Because visuals have greater impact than audio.
Mhm.
So we remember that if we have watched the film before 10 years, we still remember those characters, because the visuals have a greater impact on us.
Correct.
So kids from first grade to 10th grade, they do not have a long memory power. So they do not understand the language, complex language. So a method was developed by school cinema to make sure that they learn life skills, they learn confidence, emotional intelligence through films.
Mhm.
And I will provide you an example how good it was, because I recently we displayed a film through the students, in front of students displayed a film, Supergirl, in which a girl was very much excited to gain superpowers, because she believed that we can help people only if we have a superpower, scientific powers, like I can fly.
Mhm.
But at the end of the after she failed in that experiment, she somehow became a supergirl by donating this cycle and the bread to the people who are in need.
Okay.
And then one of the student came after few days, after 2 months, when I visited that institution again. That student told me that before that I wasn't donating my extra clothes, my extra shoes to the poor people. Now I am a superhero, because I am donating the extra things I had in my home. Before that I was not letting anyone to touch them.
Mhm.
Now I was able, after this film, that student donated all the extra things he had at his home. So that is how school cinema can inspire the people to provide them to learn, the student learned how I can become more empathetic, how I can help the people because I had extra resources at home. So this was the power of a school cinema, how the children was able to control his emotions, how he was able to empathize with the society, not only the audio but through visual impacts. That is how school cinema is making a change, because it is teaching the life skills to the children at young age through visuals.
Great. That's a great example. And I'm sure like little children, even if we like talk to them or tell them something, that is not going to create so much impact as actually watching somebody living, showing them by role modeling something. So when they watch
Yes.
something in like a movie, definitely those
Yes.
visuals will have much, much greater impact than just telling them about something or teaching them about something.
Yes, because I entered the school after the 1 month, and he shouted at me, "Sir, I had become a superhero." I told how I donated extra things, and that's what that Supergirl did in that movie. So I was very much excited, and my chest just got a bit bigger because I believe that somehow I made this kid a human at such a young age.
Correct, correct. And empathy is a very, very important skill, fundamental to learning emotional intelligence. Unless you
Yes,
empathize with another individual, you are not going to be a good communicator. You're not going to be a good team player. So
yes,
collaboration is
obviously.
going to be there.
Yes, for collaboration, for developing human relationships, we have to empathize with the people. That's how our relationships grow stronger.
Correct. What role does self-awareness play in employability, and how can we help students develop it while still in school?
Yes, obviously, because self-awareness through SWOT analysis help us the students to know their strengths, interests, weaknesses, and whatever strengths they are. Half of the work is done if we have an interest in that project.
Mm.
So the most of the people doesn't fail because of due to lack of skills, but due to lack of motivation and due to lack of interest in that particular work. So the student can become much more, I can say that he can achieve the targets more. He can become a more successful professional as well as the student if he does the work in which his strength lies and in which his interest lies.
Correct.
So we throw the people the subjects which they do not have interests.
Mm.
Most of the people are very much worried about the maths.
Mm.
It's not they do not have the skill to do the maths, but because they have negative attitude, they do
Mm.
not have a positive attitude toward the math, and they do not have interest in that particular subject.
Correct.
So
Correct.
it can help the students to build their careers. You know why? Because they they develop their careers according to their strengths, according
Mm.
to their interests, and their work gets easier.
Easy.
I will show you, for example, I asked during the students to write about something in 5 to 6 lines. And one of the student told me that I want to become a good public speaker. So
Mm.
it was his that dream that it was to public speaker. But I told him that you never speak in front of public, because after he analyzing himself, he thought that I am not able to do eye contact with the audience during
Mm.
my presentation,
Mhm.
and that's what is making me feel insecure, but I want to develop. So his weakness was because he was not able to use body language, he was not able to use eye contact with the audience. And
Mm.
after that, I made him to speak in front of few people with his best friend so that they can provide him the opportunity good feedback, and he won't shy in that people. So after that, after some time, 2 3 months, he is now a good public speaker.
Good.
So if we know our weaknesses, our
Mm.
strengths, we get an idea how we can work on those weaknesses, how we can work on those weaknesses. And if we know our strengths, if we know that particular goal aligns with our strengths, we
Mm.
believe that we can achieve more those goals. And the students will choose the subjects and the profession as per their strengths, as per their interests. That's why self-reflection is very much important, and it should be done with every student. Should be asked to do SWOT analysis, to write about interests and weaknesses.
Correct. So in career guidance, what we do, Mr. Wasim, is we have a standardized tool which is called as a psychometric assessment.
Okay.
So which is conducted to find out what are the interests and what are the personality traits and what are the weaknesses. The emotional quotient also is a part of the psychometric test that we conduct. So
Yes.
we ask students to take this test as early as class 8, maximum at least by class 10, before they decide which subject streams they want to select in class 11. So once they take this, okay, because it's a standardized tool, so we can
Yes.
rely on it. So once we know what are the strengths of the child, what are the weaknesses of the child, and whether the child has a natural ability in to do math, how good the child is with verbal ability or
Yes.
communication. Accordingly, we suggest them, okay, these are the subjects which, if you take, will align with your strengths and weaknesses, which will align with your personality traits, and you're going to be definitely successful in that area.
Yes, obviously, because if we align our goals with our strengths and interests, then obviously the chances of those fulfilling those goals becomes much easier, much higher, and the students doesn't need to put too much efforts. He is
Ah,
destined to win.
correct, correct. Because we say sometimes, we put students in a certain field, and we say they are struggling with it. There is so much stress, and they're not able to compete. They're not able to do. They're losing their jobs. Why all this happens is because the child's aptitude is not matching with whatever work the student is, actually
Yes,
doing.
yes,
Right, so
the
once
professor
that is
need to.
there, he or she will definitely be competent in that field. And of course, a little bit of work stress is going to be there, but then it will not go to an extent where the child is completely under a lot of stress and unable to perform the responsibilities or play the roles that they are supposed to play, you know
Yes, that's why self-reflection has a bigger role to play in our
Mm.
profession, the profession of the kids. So it should be done, and I am very much happy that to see that such tools are being implemented in your organization, and this is a way to go for the future.
Yes, because according to the national educational policy, all the educational boards across the world, everyone is stressing on self discovery and psychometric assessments. First, figure out what the child's strengths and weaknesses are before you direct them towards any kind of subject streams or career boards, which is a
Sure.
very, very basic step to start with. Self analysis or self discovery through standardized tests.
Good. This is a very good tool to have.
Yeah, and they'll also have, if they do it early, they will also have some time to work on their weaknesses or work on their strengths and improve them.
Improve them. Yes, they get
Yeah,
the chance. They can improve on their weaknesses, and also they can, whatever the strengths they have, they can double those strengths. So it is a
correct.
very much tool, and it will help them to align with the future.
Right. And most parents these days are not yet aware of what psychometric assessments are, or why that self discovery is very important, as early as class 8. When we tell them, like, in class 8, you are okay, you are qualified to do the psychometric assessments, most of them are like, my child is too young, they're not yet ready. Can we take this when they reach 10th standard or maybe in 12th standard? So it's very difficult for us to make the parents understand that this is very, very important, because
Yes, but
once we
through this
figure out
podcast, yes, we can provide them the information that how much it is important, how their children can grow, how much easier they can achieve their goals if they know their strengths and weaknesses. They get the chance to improve their strengths and double their strengths and improve on their weaknesses. So every father, every should know, every parent should know that it is very much important for their kids to go through this test as soon as possible, as early as possible.
possible. Correct. Okay, so thank you for backing that up. So if you could redesign one thing about the current education system to make students truly future ready, what would that be?
Yes, it is the question everybody wants to say. NEP 2020 was brought to actually answer this question.
Mm.
Because we all believe that the education system in India and the parents at home, they want bookworms, they want machines to be produced from schools. But this is not the case. Gone are the days when the job was provided through grades.
Mm.
Now it all depends upon the life cycle. So life cycle should be taught in the schools as on priority basis. It
Mm.
shouldn't be taught as extracurriculum activity, but it should be done on first priority, just like the other subjects.
Correct.
Because if you can improve through academics in future, but you cannot improve your life cycles at workplace. So you can get the job through academics, but you can excel on the job through life cycles only. Because I will give an example. Because now in this 21st century, you need digital literacy. You should know some kind of IT skills. You should know some kind of employability skills. That is what you can get the job. That's what the market wants from. So Indian education system should align with the 21st skill century, like the employability skills, like we can say the digital literacy, the emotional intelligence. Most of the kids are in stress. No
Correct.
one teaches them how to cope with the stress. It is the emotional intelligence, the latest skill which should be taught. That's
Correct.
how that's why the vocational education comes have a bigger role to play, because they prepare the students for the future. They put the skills which are needed in the market so that India produces a lot of graduates. But they do not have the skill set, because even at home we are ready to pay extra to the carpenter or to the any other mason, because who have good skill set. Exactly, the market wants, they will pay you as per your skill set. So
Correct.
not only focus should be done on academic education, but on vocational education, where soft skills and the skills are being taught which align with the market, which are needed in the market. So my first priority would be, I will put shift from academics to life skills to vocational education, so that children's efforts are not being wasted. Whenever they complete their graduations or their degrees, they are ready to get themselves job in the market.
Right, right. Okay, so I really want to emphasize on, as you said, like, don't focus only on academic skills. Like earlier, also, you had given an example of, if I don't know how to talk to a security guard, for example, that's because
Yes,
nobody has taught me that emotional regulation. So if
regulation. Yes,
if I'm very, very angry for whatever reason, and if I'm in a public place, I should know, what do I do with that anger?
yes,
How do I control it? How do I regulate it? Like, feeling angry is a natural process, it's a natural emotion. Nobody is
yes,
telling us like, don't feel angry. Of course you will feel angry, and that is fine, but what do you do with that anger?
yes,
No, that is emotional regulation. And mostly, are we teaching that to children? That's a really big question, a $1 million question. We always say, you control your anger, control your anger,
yes,
but how do you control your anger? What do you do with
yes,
that energy? Right. So when I was a full-time teacher, I used to teach my students. I used to tell them, whenever you are like really, really angry, it's a very powerful emotion. Anger is a very, very powerful emotion. You get so much
yes.
strength when you're angry. So go and wash clothes, manually wash clothes. So I used to tell them, when I was in the hostel and when I was like really angry, I used to take my bed sheet, which was like really heavy, go and
Yes.
wash it. Because
Yes. So
when
that
you are,
all the anger will be gone.
yeah, when you are not angry, when you are just a normal person, rinsing that bed sheet in a bucket of water is very difficult because it's very heavy.
Yes,
So
it
when you
becomes a
are
heavy work.
yeah, so when you are angry, you have so much energy, you can actually do it very well. So that's
Yes.
how you regulate your emotions. So when I'm angry, and I used to like repeat that several times throughout the academic year. Anytime, next time when I see somebody angry, I say, when you are angry, what do? They all say, you have to go and wash clothes.
Yes.
So
So I
that's
want to,
yeah, very
yes,
simple thing. But when we share something like this with children, they understand better.
yes,
We can relate to it better. It's not that
yes.
you only have to wash clothes. You can do n
Any
number
other
of
thing,
things.
any other
So that's
activity.
that's
Yes.
an example.
Yes, that is an example. They can do other
Yeah,
kind of work.
yeah.
And I want to add a few lines. Emotional intelligence is a big
Please.
topic. You have two main aspects. If you can keep in mind, you can control your emotions. First
Mm,
one, you have to take time to respond. If you
correct.
respond quickly, that time there is adrenaline rush, a lot of hormones are going. So you will respond in aggressive manner. Your tone will be a bit higher. Take time to respond.
Mm,
Take yourself, cool you down, take deep
mm,
breaths and then respond, because it saves relationships, it saves breakdowns.
right.
And the second most important thing is, you have to remember the consequences of your last actions.
Correct.
For example, if I misbehave with a student in anger, he will file a complaint in the school,
Mm,
and his or her parents will come, and they are going to be a big problem. The next time when I try to school another student, my mind should remind that action what has done, how much damage it has done for me in the past. So I will get a bit of cool down. So take time to respond.
mm.
Remember the consequences of your last time, when you lost emotions, when you lost control over emotions. These are the two methods, simple methods, which one should keep in mind when you are going to face an emotional challenge.
Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing us. And at this point, I wanted to, share something that a psychologist has told me once
Sure.
when we were having some discussion. What she said is, remember the 3 Ds when you are angry or upset. One is take deep breaths before you
Yes.
respond. Okay, take deep breaths and then drink water. And if possible, try to distract yourself.
Sure. Yes. These
So
are the
all
three
these,
powerful practices.
yeah,
I believe these are
yeah,
very good.
yeah. She was a psychologist. That's what she told me. So these are the 3 things that we tell, people to practice. So all these three are going to actually help you distract from the actual situation, so you get time to think and respond instead of
Respond.
directly reacting to the situation.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. So that was really, valuable time and conversation, Mr. Wasim. You had shared so many real life examples and, such valuable information. And you have focused so much on EQ, developing emotional quotient and emotional intelligence, because that's what most of the top companies are looking for in while they are hiring their employees. Giving them jobs based on IQ is gone. It's outdated now. You have a high IQ or not, whether you have 90%, 95% or not, it is, they are mainly looking at EQ, how intelligent
Yes.
you are emotionally before they
Emotional.
hire you.
Yes, now it is the most, and also you cannot carry your market sheet, whatever wealth you have at home, the profession of your father. It is the life skills and the soft skills which you carry everywhere.
Mm.
And that's why we need humans. Most of the relationships break down. Stress comes from relationships breakdown. It's all because of emotional intelligence. That's why bit focus was on that particular soft skill, which is the latest soft skill, 21st soft skill, which should be keep in mind, and focus should be done on that particular soft skill. And
Yes.
it was also my pleasure to have an interaction with a professional like you. I will always remember in my good books. This conversation means a lot to me.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for sharing, all your valuable experiences and insights with our audience. I'm sure they will get to learn a lot of things that they haven't heard of before. Okay, because you've been a soft skill trainer, and so you have trained so many students, and for professions before
Yes.
they apply for jobs and all that. And with these real life examples, I'm sure it will highly resonate with the audience. Okay, so thank you so much for the conversation, and hopefully we will have much more collaborations like this in the future.
Yes, I'm surely expecting the same. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.